Hey everybody, and welcome back to Zelda Universe TV. We have an interview today with one of our affiliates, Chuggaaconroy. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so Chuggaaconroy did the Wind Waker LP, affiliated with us back at the start of 2010. So it's been a long time since he's done a game. It's been almost 2 years at this point.
I did a
But
Zelda game, not just a game in general.
yeah, Zelda game. Yeah, he's not Proton John.
Oh!
Yeah, but this is his first time doing a Zelda game in 2 years, and it's Majora's Mask, so it's going to be our official walkthrough. We got some questions for him. First off, why Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask, in all honesty, it is my second favorite Zelda game, second to Wind Waker. When it came out, it got really, really good critical response from reviewers, but a lot of the fans of the Zelda, like certain segments of the Zelda fan base, don't feel the same way about it. They think, Ocarina of Time is the better game. It's the terrible, terrible sequel to the best game ever, as they say. And
they were expecting like a sequel to Ocarina of Time, not its own random thing, so they didn't like that.
well, it's not that it's not like Ocarina of Time, and this is something that I think only people who've played it can understand, is that Ocarina of Time had some of the most interactive NPCs of any game at the time when it was released, and I think that Majora's Mask was that they decided to build an entire game off that one mechanic. And people were expecting a game that played like Ocarina of Time, and I understand that they were expecting something different, though, and Majora's Mask does have its shortcomings. I will agree the saving system is absolute bollocks,
Yeah.
but we'll get into that another time, though. But it does have shortcomings, and I understand it wasn't what people were expecting, but that does not make it a bad game, and it's not nearly as deserving of the hate that it gets from segments of the fan base for what it has. It's still a fantastic game, and I really hope I can change some people's minds about it.
So, when you go into this LP, what are your goals? Like, what are you hoping to achieve that other LPs might not have achieved yet?
First off, before I answer the question, I want to say I have enjoyed plenty of LPs of this game. I've watched quite a few. I've watched Slim Kirby's, I've watched Nintendo Capri Suns. I've watched quite a few, and
Yeah,
I do
in
enjoy
fact,
those.
just before the recording, he was quoting word for word Nintendo Capri's songs, Little Majora's Mask song, that he loves so much.
Take a dump on the toilet. But yeah, anyway. I do like other LPs of the game, but any LP that I've seen of it does typically have the same, what I think are shortcomings. Usually in the first episode or first couple episodes, it's brought up how much they love the atmosphere and the story and the characters of the game, but when they actually get into playing it beyond the first couple episodes, they usually just skip the story and skip over the text and just explain in their commentary what it is they have to go do objectively, skipping over the text and scenes that make up the atmosphere. There's a lot of things in the game that the developers intend for you to find so that you know what to do, that are just hidden little scenes and all that kind of stuff, and they leave those out usually, maybe show them as bonuses at the end. And in mine, what I want to do is I want to have everything put together in a sequence that plays out like everything, even the side quests, are like one big intertwining story, like the developers intended for you to find on your first playthrough, and make it comprehensive both in terms of the way that we do things and the way that we find out what to do and that kind of stuff for somebody who hasn't played.
Yeah, because the problem with Majora's Mask LPs is that, well, basically there's like 30, 50 subplots, and your ordinary reaction would be just to go through the game, mention this guy, and it sort of gets all mixed up. Like, it would be great to have an LP that sort of purely goes after each like subplot as its own thing in the order that's intended.
Yeah, that's mainly my goal, is to make everything really comprehensive and flow linearly and not make it all broken up and everything like that, make it really disjointed, though, because I'm not saying that I don't like LPs of this game. I like plenty of LPs of this game, and they have good commentary, they have good jokes, and they do have good moments and everything, though, but this is a problem I think any LP of the game I've ever seen had.
And the only way it can really be fixed is with the good old Chuggaaconroy method of plan it out months in advance. With little, he has like a giant wall, and he puts pins on his map like a general. He's like, this is where I'm going to go next.
I'm the postman.
He's the postman, yes.
But,
Actually, the Postman is a bit of a running meme, isn't it, of yours, and he's going to return in a big way in Majora's Mask, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be good. But I'm not saying I'm the only person that can do this kind of thing. I'm just saying that it's something that I would like to do, though, because I haven't seen it done before.
So, just in general, do you plan to cover it 100%? Because, generally you seem to do 100% on almost every LP you do.
As always, with Majora's Mask, with Majora's Mask, that whole series would be like 15 episodes if I didn't do 100%.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you just go through. If you go through just the main story, it's like, I defeated the game already. Like Star Fox 64, if you just go through that one direct route, it's like a 2-episode game, because it has those 30 side missions that, yeah. So it's that kind of game that you just really need to 100% to have a completed game, really.
Yeah, and just there's so much depth to the world and so much of the atmosphere that would go unseen if it was not 100%, though, because it relies really heavily on just how deep every character is. It's kind of like Mother 3, how there's maybe only like 30 human characters in the entire game, but they all have their own story and they're all really deep, and you see them change as the game goes on.
Yeah, Mother 3 is another one of those games with lots of little hidden secrets and stuff like that too, and references, and which are also all over Majora's Mask, so that should be fun watching those. So yeah, that pretty much answers most of the Majora's Mask questions, I believe. If you have any other Majora's Mask questions, you can leave it in the comments, and then I'll probably drag him back for another interview.
By the ankles. I guess you could say that was the answer to the majority of the questions.
Oh! Yeah.
I pun the pun master.
Yeah, so if Proton John's watching this, he's been groaning like 8 times now, especially after we burned him at the start.
Yeah.
So, yeah, enough about Majora's Mask, because it's only a next LP. What about future LPs? People want to know what's coming up in the future. Any hints?
I haven't even released the first episode of this one, and people are already asking what the first episode of the next one will be like.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. And yeah, there's also something else related to Majora's Mask, a little pet project that we've been endorsing over here at Zelda Universe. It's called Operation Moonfall. The idea is basically Eiji Aonuma, he's directed every Zelda game, every Zelda game released directly by Nintendo rather than Capcom since Ocarina of Time, yeah. And he said, well, we'd like to see Majora's Mask as 3D, but it would help if there was fan support for it the way that there was for Ocarina of Time, which was partially why we decided to release it. And so the fans responded. There's probably about 35,000 signatures at this point. Do you think it's a good cause? Would you like to see Majora's Mask on the 3DS?
For one, definitely. I thought Ocarina of Time was a fantastic remake, and I'll be honest, Ocarina of Time was a game I didn't really enjoy much before the 3DS version because I didn't play it. I actually had never even played it till it was released on the Wii. Well, rather, I played it one time when I was 8 years old and didn't really like it because I was just a little kid at the time, and it wasn't really my type of game, though. But I played it on the Wii, and I thought it was okay. But when I played it on the 3DS, I loved it because the controls were like a lot more smoothed out and everything. A lot of the game design, archaic game design, was fixed up.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
Everything was a lot. I think a problem is that people who play Ocarina of Time after playing probably like the Wind Waker or whatever you played first, like they can see it's not the later games take Ocarina of Time and then they improve on it. So just playing it afterwards, you're a bit less impressed, but you sort of get that feeling of what it was like again, maybe in the re-release with things patched up.
Yeah, because they patched up a lot of the archaic game design, and I will say, I'd love to see Majora's Mask in that way, though, because Majora's Mask was a game that I liked to begin with, and seeing it remade in the same way, I think would be fantastic. And the thing is, people might argue, like, well, we don't want the 3DS to become a whole system of just nothing but remakes. We don't want, it to detract from original Zelda game for the system, though. But I don't think that it would cause that problem, though, because Nintendo was only supervising the development of Ocarina of Time 3D. The development was done by another company called Grezzo. Grezzo has all the source material for Ocarina of Time 3D, and Majora's Mask took maybe a year for Nintendo to develop in the first place.
Yeah.
And that was just doing the dungeon design, story, and all that, writing, because they reused a ton of graphical source material and music from Ocarina of Time. So if they can just do if that's all it takes to make Majora's Mask in the first place, it would probably take a small team 4 to 6 months to remake Majora's Mask for the 3DS development wise. And it wouldn't really take any time at all, though. So if it doesn't take time at all, it's not detracting from an original Zelda title from it, though, because Nintendo can freely work on that while Grezzo is put to work on Majora's Mask 3D. I don't really see any reason why it shouldn't exist. It would take almost no time or effort on their part, and the fans clearly want it if there is 35,000 signatures for it.
And it brings it to a new generation of fans as well, same with Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it brings it to a new generation of people that might not have played it back in the day. And Eiji Aonuma has said, if you want it, make some noise. And if he gave us the push to do that, I think we have all the reason in the world to demand for Majora's Mask 3D. I think it is a fantastic idea, and that it would be a great way to bring Majora's Mask to a new generation of people, as well as make it new and exciting for people who might have played it back in the day.
Alright, well, I think that covers everything. Thanks for your time. We look forward to Majora's Mask launching
later today, actually.
Yeah, later today. So,
when the
look
videos
forward to that. Probably by the time you see this, if this is launched after it, there'll be like an annotation over there, and it will take you straight to episode 1. So enjoy that. And
thank you for having me, and thank you all for watching. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and Chuggaaconroy out.